it's like the first time I went on stage. I wasn't planning to do so, and it just happened to be a night. And then the other comic said, "Okay, you're gonna be going up next." And I said, "To do what? Up where?"
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Old Black Men Conversation. Today, I'm your co-host, David Harold Dudley III, aka the co-host, and you are.
I am the real Cliff Barnes, the other co-host.
Oh, yay!
That's
Applause,
probably,
applause.
Yeah, I like it. That's good.
Actually, that's one of the features on the new system. I'm gonna get the sound effects. I'm gonna have the applause, the bam, 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 all of that. You was pretty timid on your AKAs
Well,
today.
that's because I have a random thought of flyness.
Okay.
Now I thought about this on the way over here as I was listening to sports radio. And the thought that came to mind was, you know what a good Sly Stone song is that could be flipped into gospel?
Not right offhand.
Stand!
Sure you do.
Stand!
Stand.
In the end,
And,
you'll still be you.
mm-hmm.
One that does all the things you said I should do. Stand. There's a cross for you to bear. Real words.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Yeah.
Filipino that instead of stand be pray, pray, pray.
Yeah.
Everybody. Hey.
I feel like somebody probably has done that before.
I
I don't know. I don't know that though.
But hey, still in all.
Because it's a good idea. So I'm like,
It is, yeah.
And what would, well, you know, I do have good ideas.
so says you.
Okay,
No.
occasionally, yeah.
Yeah, so what's been happening, Brother Cliff? What's been going on with you?
Oh, hey, just living life, another day in paradise. I was, I did a show the other night. It was good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you doing this show at 14th in Washington?
No. My daughter knows a couple of those guys.
Yeah, I see a lot of folks are starting to do that. And to be honest with you, I guess I must be getting younger because these comics, a lot of these comics just not funny anymore to me.
Well, it depends on...
And I think it depends on taste too, because like...
Right, and it also depends on material.
True that.
And then people have different thoughts and different spins on things that we all experience, daily. And so, and if you put the wrong spin on it, then the people that you're talking to have to get it. And if it's wrong, then there's no laughter.
Or it could just be a generation gap, because I find people like, I find Dave Chappelle really funny. And some folks just, they can sit through a whole show and not crack a smile.
Yeah, well, that's an individual thing. See, everybody has a sense of humor, but not a lot of us don't have a sense of comedy, and there's a difference.
Is it just me, or does Kanye's new wife have like giant legs?
I don't know. I haven't really.
I don't know.
I haven't really seen it. Apparently, this is freestyle. There's no segues.
Yeah, I know, right?
I hadn't really noticed her leg. I haven't even seen. I think I just might have seen one picture. I don't even know who she might be. I heard she worked with him in the clothing line or whatever.
She looks like Kim with short hair.
That's the only thing I know about her.
That's the only thing, and that's what I've been hearing. I said, well, yeah, I guess she kind of does in that video. They were walking along.
Right.
This was after they found him. Remember, you told me he was gone for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was when after he came back from wherever he was or whatever they were doing, and that's the only picture I have.
How come people can't just go somewhere and everybody mind their business? Why's Kanye got to be missing? And why Dave Chappelle have to be missing? How come I didn't just go on vacation or I went to go mind my damn business?
Right. Well,
I don't understand that. What everybody's enamored with. We don't have paparazzi pictures of Kanye. Oh no. Like, I don't get it.
But that's what it is. It's like you or I, we don't see or hear anything about particular person, we inquire, and then if we don't get any answer about it, then okay, well, that person is just out of the spotlight for a minute, But if it's a celebrity, then the media has to have something to talk about. The entertainment media, they have to have something to talk about. If celebrities just started hiding and not being seen, then what would Entertainment Tonight or Access TV or Dish Nation have to talk about?
Yeah, or
TMZ, any of them.
But in reality, that's not all celebrities. I mean, that's just those
that want to be in the spotlight. If you don't want to be in the spotlight,
right,
then don't go there.
Because I know of folk. I remember when I was doing some stuff with Paramount Northwest, and Ben Vereen would just walk around like a normal person. And he was big because he was on Roots, you know what I mean?
But back then, they didn't have shows like TMZ and wherever where people, see, the thing is, half the time when they say that's so-and-so, I don't recognize them because they might have shades on, or in their last movie they didn't have a beard, now they got one, and I would be the worst paparazzi at all. I don't know who anybody is. I'm like...
That was me I used to pride myself on... I would always find myself in the right place at the right time to meet a lot of celebrities. And when I was working at the Wheel, celebrities would come down there all the time. But I had a real problem when Seahawks players would come, because if you was not, if you weren't a player I knew, then you wasn't a player I knew. So I missed so many people, and it'd be one of my coworkers who'd be like, "Yo, that's a Seahawk player. It's da-da-da-da," and I'd be like, "Dude, no idea."
I was in Target with about 15 of them, and I only recognized a couple, and I used to work for them. So I should know at least the alumni players, and the new guys I'm just getting to know. But if you don't have that name on your back,
I'm telling you, all I say is he looks too big to be just nobody.
No, well, okay,
that's just like
that's Walter Jones.
When Megan and them was doing those little things at the landing, at the Red Robin or whatever the hell it was, Toreros, that's what it was. But they do the Seahawk Fridays there.
Oh yeah.
And they'd always have a couple of players, right? And I'd go over there at lunch because I'm out there we're going. These mugs, I never knew who they were. I was like, when the hell did you get on the team?
I walked in, I recognized Bruce Irvin and Cam Chancellor right off. And then Walter Jones is too large to miss. I mean, that person, his shoulders are about this wide. He is a big guy. So, and I mean, all the other players were around, and there must have been about 15 of them. It was event for Cliff Avrill's foundation, family foundation, and they were taking kids shopping for Christmas. So they would get a bunch of alumni players and current players, and they'd come down and they'd pair off with a kid, and then they'd let them buy presents for their themselves and their families and whoever.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of them, and they all stood in a line for a picture. And I still couldn't. I said, okay, that guy looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you his name.
Mm.
You know?
Yep, I guess that's the down pit on fame when it comes to football.
Right.
Is you can be a professional athlete, but unless you are a star in the football,
You're not.
Where you're always, where your face is always on camera.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're not a known,
you're the guy at the podium, after the games, and yeah.
That's just like our cousin Ed, Big Ed, not Little Ed, but Big Ed. I mean, he's got a couple of Super Bowl rings, but he never started. But he was with a few teams for a few years, but he wasn't a starter.
But the thing is, he got to the big league.
Yeah.
And so that's people aspire with sometimes when they're kids. I want to be a professional player, and their whole life, and they always say, ever since I was 8, I thought I could make the pro. And
every kid thinks that.
Yeah.
I sure the hell thought it.
I realize my limitations. I don't want people that weigh twice as much as me to fall on me. That's just a kind of a quirk that I have. But the whole thing is, like baseball celebrities, for instance, right?
I wouldn't recognize no baseball players either.
Baseball, that's what I'm saying.
No baseball players.
When we used to hang out at the old Swannies, and the baseball players would come in, and some teams would come in like a day early and do their run through their practice, and then the games the next day. And so they'll come in and they want to party and what have you, and they're sitting there, and it was like, well, who was that? Oh, that's Ricky Henderson. Oh, okay, yeah. Who is this? This is, Wade Boggs and stuff. And it's like, I'm sitting around having beers with these guys. I'm like, okay, I have heard of you. I heard of you. And then a bunch of rookies come in, have no idea. It's like, for instance, Ken Griffey Jr., of course, I see him, recognize him, because I saw him at a couple of football games when I was working at the stadium.
But again, that's a star.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then I'm standing there and we're talking, as a group of people, and then Ken walks by, and everybody's like, hey Ken, how are you? Whatever. And there's a guy right there with him who was not necessarily with him, but I mean it came through at the same time. He was a starting linebacker for Dallas. And I had no idea who he was. I went, yeah, well, that's a, pretty buff guy, but I mean, and baseball players are much more regular size, let's say, average height than football players, except for Aaron Judge. He's like 6'7", so you go, oh yeah, we know that guy. But, and then basketball players, Sonics, back in the day.
I think that basketball players are the easiestly recognizable sports celebrities, just on a general scale.
And the thing is, a lot of them are super tall, but all of them aren't. Some of them guys are just like 6'1", 6'2",
5'3".
Well, that was Muggsy. That was a different kind of thing. And then Spud was 5'7". But now everybody's like, because they were talking about, well, yeah, Damian Lillard, he scored like 71 points the other night. And he said, yeah, and that's another thing. It wasn't like he was Wilt Chamberlain, where he's just up there and he's just above everybody. And they're going, yeah, and he's such a little guy. And they go, what? He's 6'2". That's a little guy in the NBA. Because everybody else is 6'5", 6'8", 6'10", 7'3". So, but we used to see the...
Dad, would you like to talk? Bro, I'm sitting, he's been going for minutes. You've said nothing except for 5'3". I would love for you to join us in the conversation.
Are you too comfortable?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess we should have prefaced this as we smoked. But, bro.
But no, sometimes you get too comfortable as you're older.
I feel. But you got to be in the conversation with us. Let's talk about something else. Let's change the subject.
Yeah. Okay.
A random act of flyness.
A random act of flyness.
Do you have one?
Explain. I don't know.
A random act of
Maybe.
Explain.
something really cool that you do that was random that you
Something
have done.
really cool that,
You mean like an activity or something for somebody? Like what do you mean?
just,
In any context.
I don't know.
Just an act. What's an act?
Hey, what about getting on stage? That's pretty fly the first time you get on stage.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know.
like I don't know if it's random.
But
if that's what you do.
But no, I'm talking about the first time. Like the thing is, like you didn't plan on doing it, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Oh,
you know.
okay, yeah. I guess you could randomly get on stage if that
yeah.
wasn't the plan.
But I mean, like way back when
Well, I thought he was talking about like
young.
right now.
Okay,
Like what have you
well,
done?
now?
in any context. In any context. I'll give you one that I did.
Well, yeah.
I thought back in the day we had a variety show at the choir I was in. And we had it at St. Therese on the stage and whatnot. And I thought I'd be really cool, and it'd be really cool if I was the MC, right? And
Right.
so what I was going to do was open it up with an act of comedy, right? So I got up there and said, "Hi, I'm your host." Then I said, "I'm a comedian."
Okay.
And I expected everybody to laugh, but they didn't. Then I said, "I'm really funny. If you laugh, it's okay." They're all looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
That was a random act of flyness
Uh-huh.
because I didn't let it bother me. I said, "Okay, so for our first act."
Oh, so okay.
I think that's more you was cool under pressure or something. Because I'm like,
I mean,
actually, you know what? That could count. I was fly under pressure because
fly under pressure.
yeah, I don't think the best thing to do is tell people, "Yo, I'm a comedian," because then my automatic, I'd feel like a slave owner at that point. Well, be funny, boy. you know, be funny. Tap for me.
Yeah, you know.
A random act of flyness.
know.
What was I just doped? Oh, okay. So I got asked to Cliff. Actually, you go because y'all show. I'll say mine later.
Oh, okay. Like I was saying, it's like the first time I went on stage. I wasn't planning to do so, and it just happened to be a night. And then the other comic said, "Okay, you're gonna be going up next." And I said, "To do what? Up where?" They said, "Yeah, you know, because I had been considered going on stage." Yeah. So that was kind of, and then it went well. So that was damn fly, you know, for the first time ever trying to do that. I mean, I'd been on stage a lot.
How long were you on? With your first time going on stage, how long were you up for?
Actually, it ended up being about 10 or 12 minutes.
Of a set, or you just were up there talking and it happened to work?
I was dealing with a room full of bikers and ex-bikers.
Mm.
So we had a kind of interaction that was never, I mean, I didn't even plan on doing that, but you know, you gotta let bikers love you. They, if they like you, you gotta let them do it. Oh, okay, thank you very much. You know.
Yeah.
But like I was relatively cool under fire because they weren't like people who they would get up, walk around, and they wasn't just like at a comedy club where you have an audience. And they're sitting kind of like a captive audience because they paid money, so they sitting there. You know, but these guys were just, you know.
Yeah.
But that was the type of bar that was.
All right.
But
so I got asked to speak at a black like a Black History Assembly, but I don't really know. That's not what it was. I mean, I just got asked to speak on behalf of black people. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was at a middle school in Marysville, and so I went, And I gotta be honest, I did not know what I was gonna talk about because I'm like, bro, I'm going because at least I can have a default of I'm entertaining. I didn't know how. You gotta understand. I was just like, I know I can entertain kids for 10 minutes if I run out of things that have substance to talk about. But you know, so I got there and I literally was making up my script of whatever I was gonna do, and I get there and my talking points, because I only had a few, I tried to stretch them out, which in turn it made me feel like I was being redundant, and that's the last thing you want to do in front of kids. So I bailed on that, and I thought of something on the fly. I was like, all right, who has talent? Because I had spent time talking about being excellent, it being in your zone of excellence. So I was like, who has talent? And then, you know, kids, so I was like, okay, they're engaged now. So I picked 3 kids out. Boy, when I tell you, this did not go right immediately. I picked 3 kids out, 1 from each grade. The first kid, I said, hey man, what's your talent? Or no, I didn't even ask him. I said, you got 30 seconds to just, the spotlight is on you. You get to share your talent, share your excellence. And he leans in and he says, I need a saxophone. And I said, oh. I didn't know my way. So I was like, all right, you know what, just stand over there for us. So I was like, okay, strike 1. Out of here. The next one, I was like, hey man, all right, you got 30 seconds to show your talent to the school. And he says, I draw, so I don't really know. I was like, oh no. I was strike 2. So I was like, all right, you know what? Just wait right here for me real quick. And then the last one, the 8th grade girl, I was like, hey, all right, you got 30 seconds to show us some talent. She just looked at me and she just said, just shook her head like, I'm not with it. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, why'd you even come up here? What am I doing? Oh no. As that was wrapping up, somebody had brought the kid saxophone. So I was like, woo, we back in the game, coach. I said, all right, man, I want you to play something. And he said, I barely know anything. I was like, boy, you made me believe if you had the sax, you was finna. So then I had to talk him, you know, I pump him up. Got him to play. I beatbox for him, and I put the video up. You know, the kids was loving it. And then I was ready to bail after that. I was like, we got 1 win. We about to shut this down. And then all of a sudden, the principal said, oh, the kid, we brought his artwork up online. So I had the kid do a whole presentation. It was actually really dope. This kid drew like a 3D world.
Whoa.
I was like, what in the... So, you know, I hyped him. I hyped the sax kid up. I hyped that kid up like saying, this is what they do for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, this, you guys got to work in your zone. So, it was dope. But I stayed cool because I had a mic in my hand and everything, but I didn't panic. I had about 250 kids and a microphone, but I stayed cool and I ended up winning. Okay, back to you.
It's a win. A win in life is
a win.
It's the best.
Okay,
and
here.
There's so many types of ways to win.
Exactly. All right, here's the next question. What about, so what did you call that? Random act of flyness? All right, random act of whackness, where it just went wrong and there was no saving it. even if it's a small thing or a big thing.
I can't think of anything whack, because it seems like everything I'm really careful.
Okay.
Unless I get my head bad, then all caution goes out the door.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of whack stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lately, I don't know. There's not much. I don't know. There's been times where things have gone wrong during a show or something.
That's where mine.
You know,
like, I mean, can't save this one.
I mean, it was like doing it we had to do a show at midday at Boise State University. Okay, and so I went up, like they had, I guess, yeah, they had a little MC come up, and the kids were like, they didn't have all the stuff they got now, so they're in their little thing, they're writing and they're doing, and so it was like nobody
flapping newspapers.
Yeah, it's like nobody told them there was going to be a show or something, right? And I'm working, the headliner I was working with, it's like, I got up there, and I was just kind of, blasé with and the kids were like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then the guy I was working with, he was like a political comic, topical, and a lot of times when you start bringing up politics, you lose just about half your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got up there and he started doing his thing, and I had a few people paying attention. By the time he got up there, they looked at him like a dog watching a ceiling fan, man. he couldn't get nothing. They wouldn't respond to anything, and it was just. I said, "Oh well, okay. I guess I did okay compared."
That's actually one reason why I'd be nervous about going to comedy shows. See, you talked about people not being funny, so my thing is, for anybody who's on stage, I feel the empathy. Like, if something goes wrong, I feel that because I have been there. Whether it's been a stage play, running out on the stage at the wrong time, dropping the microphone out the pocket, making a whole big mishmash about whether it's singing a song on stage live on Washington State's TV networks.
Hey,
your boy,
yeah.
So I feel when something goes wrong. So when it comes to stand-up comedy, I have a hard time going to shows because if you are not funny, especially to me. Now, if you're funny to other people and they're laughing, I'm a little more comfortable if you're not funny to me. But if nobody's laughing, I'm cringing with them, I'm also cringing for you because I'm like, please just go away. just run. But as a comedian, I know that's like, nah, you got to take it. I'm just bombing tonight. On normal nights, whatever, but I can't. I am terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm almost exact opposite of that. I used to just go to live shows, whether it be comedy or music or whatever, right? Well, once I got up there a few times myself, it became automatic. I could not help but judge when folks are up there. And it may show in my face, it may not. Because if you suck, you suck.
I know, and that's my thought is if you suck, you suck. But I also don't know you and what you're doing.
But
I don't care.
But the thing is,
I done put my money in this, and you up there sucking, and I done paid money. Get off the stage.
Yeah, exactly. See, but the thing is, I've known comics who really sucked in the beginning. Like if you go to like an open mic show, but if you go to a show where there's cover charge and whatever, then
a ticketed show.
Yeah, you got to put it out there.
Yeah.
But if you go to open mic, you're going to hear a lot of comments.
And that's the thing is that's where I would hear comment, and I'm just like, I get it. You're working on your dream.
Yeah, and I've there's several comics who from this area, they were okay at first. But then they got better.
Yeah.
And then they went on to do stuff, nationally and what have you.
I was in the mode for the most time.
Yeah.
Is I was paying to go see.
Right.
So I expected something for my money.
Exactly.
You ain't putting out, nigga.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, you have to show something if you're going to charge people to see it.
Yeah.
you gotta have something for them to, it's like
I used to take tomatoes to the show.
You guys ever threw a tomato? That's just crazy. I can't believe there was a time where people throw tomatoes and lettuce.
They would throw a whole salad.
If you spent your last $5 to go see this fool, and you got 4 hours to go, and they ain't funny, and that's all you got to look forward to. You throw some tomatoes.
No, but wait a minute. Why are people wasting the food?
They got it out the garbage.
Where do they bring it? So okay, that actually has always been a thing for me. Where do people get this food they're throwing?
They grow it. Back in the day when that really was, that there was a lot more of an agricultural society, so there was fruit and vegetables everywhere. And like you say, I don't know why did they decide on tomato? Well, I guess watermelon.
Well, I know. Yeah, tomato makes a good splat. I guess. It's so the maniacal thought of somebody just sitting like, I'm going to a show tonight, and guess what? I'm bringing a backpack full of. Like, who thinks?
I'm bringing a salad. I'm bringing an unmade salad.
Just bringing all this, and then security. I mean, I don't know if they had security back in the day, but they walk up in their their top hat and their gowns with the backpack.
They didn't have backpacks back then.
So how did they carry everything?
In their pockets.
In their pockets.
So everybody, you get 2 tomatoes. I only got 2. I'm gonna make them.
Well, the thing is, if you go into the show, you're hoping you won't have to use them.
Come on, I really want these for dinner later tonight. So you better be good.
You better be good, boy.
Oh, that's one bomb. One more is coming at you.
No, but what was it? Remember in the Blues Brothers? Where they had chicken wire, those beer bottles. I think I'd much rather have tomatoes than beer bottles. But yeah,
that sucks.
But I mean, but just to have an audience react that way, and to have the club management or whoever owns it to allow that, if you know that's what's happening, I'd be going like, no, don't book me there.
I'd ask the owner, who cleans up after this, sir?
Well, you got a staff. I mean, you got people. You could just hire some folks to, sweep up the glass and carry it on somebody to mop. But I mean, the whole point is, why do you allow it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Audience react, But the thing is, in a lot of, like in a comedy sense,
excuse me,
you're up there for a reaction. Hopefully it's not a bad reaction, but at least pay attention to me while I'm here, and that makes a difference, because when they if they boo, if they hiss, because people say stuff that like on a lot of podcasts, and when people the reaction that come back on them and the backlash, so that'll happen immediately here because you have a variety of people, and so that. But react. Don't just sit there and stare.
Yeah.
That's what you're. It's like, hey, you boo, if you hiss, if you cheer, if you scream. Laughing is always good, but I mean, it's a reaction that you want. It's just like, as a musician, you wouldn't want people just be sitting around not even responding. I mean, Hi there. This is the real Cliff Barnes. And I just like to invite all of you guys to keep watching us, to like us, to share us, and subscribe to Say It Loud Podcast Network. And as I say, share us, like us. We love you. Love us back.